Welcome. Thank you for joining us for this month's edition of What's That? My name is Nancy Rinaldi. I'm the Director of the Community Outreach Program here at Easter Seals, and I'm coming to you from our Resource and Technology Demonstration Center to talk to you today about assistive technology to help with fall prevention. You're probably thinking, how does assistive technology help with fall prevention? You're aware of removing throw rugs and wiping up spills and those kinds of things. So I want to show you some things that maybe you haven't thought of relative to fall prevention and could help you as a caregiver or to make your own home safer. So one of the things when we think about fall prevention, I'll start with just a doorway. So this is called a threshold ramp. And you can see it's not very big, but this can help sort of bridge the gap between the front door and the linoleum in the hallway, or from hardwood floor in a kitchen to carpet in a family room, so that someone who perhaps doesn't pick up their feet very well or is using a walker can traverse those things a little bit more easily and could help prevent falls. So that's called a threshold ramp. Some other things that we think about with fall prevention, and probably you're familiar with this. This is a reacher. And this can help with if something's up high on a shelf, instead of reaching up on your tiptoes to get it, or you can reach down low when perhaps bending over to pick something up might be difficult or potentially could cause a fall. So this is a reacher. And what's nice about this one folds. And so you could really have it with you if you go to the grocery store and if you're height challenged and maybe need to pick up something that's off a higher shelf, this might be something that you could use for that. A couple other things since we're talking about the grocery store and the car. There's a couple of things that you can use to help with getting in and out of the car. This is called a car caddy. And this actually goes around the frame of the window. And so as the person gets up, they can use this to help. So if it's the passenger, maybe they're pulling on this with their right hand and pushing up on the console in the front to get up. Similarly, this is called the handy bar. And this is a similar type of thing. This goes in the frame of the door. So again, on the passenger side, the passenger might use this with their right hand and then be pushing up with their left hand to help them get up. So it can help them get up a little bit more easily than trying to sort of push up off the car seat, which might be difficult and potentially could cause a fall. One of the things that's really important for anyone, but can be important for fall prevention, is medication. So it's really important that you understand your loved one's medications, what might cause balance problems, what might cause dizziness, but also to remember that it's important to take the right medication at the right time. So this is an example of a magnifier that goes on a pill bottle, and it just will magnify what's on there. So then you or your loved one are able to see, oh, this is my medication that I take, and I take one of these. And so it's making sure that you're taking the correct medication. Or this is a medication reminder. So for this particular one, you can set it for 4 different times during the day. You can put the pills, the medications right next to it, and it will alarm and say, it's time to take your medication for 12 noon on Thursday, September 19th. You come up, take the medication for noon, turn off the alarm, and then you've taken the correct medication at the correct time. Or as a caregiver, you're not having to call your loved one at noon and say, hey, did you take your 12 o'clock meds? So it's a good way to remind them that they're taking the right medication at the right time. Another thing that can impact falls, and you might not think about this, is actually clothing. So some people will leave their shoes untied because it's just easier, or they'll leave them very loose, and that can be a potential fall. And so some things that might be able to assist with that, this is what's called an elastic shoelace. And so you can see it's stretchy. So you can take a tie shoe and make it a slip-on shoe by using these shoelaces. Or you can use, this is a shoe that's called Quick Kicks. It opens up in the back, and when you put your foot in, it closes. And so then it remains tight. You're not having to tie the shoe each time. It's just open, and then you put your foot in and it's closed. And that can make a big difference. You don't want somebody walking around with shoes that are loose, that are flopping around, that potentially their foot could come out of or that they could fall with. Also, clothing can be kind of a hazard too for falls. So if you think about, as we get older, we all tend to need to maybe rush to the bathroom. And so wearing pants that have buttons and zippers and things like that can make it difficult and cause accidents. So these pants have magnets and Velcro, and that's going to make it much easier. The other thing is there's underwear that can be easier too. So this underwear, this is a pair of ladies' underwear. It just has Velcro on both sides. So you could really rip that off easily and your underwear can come down and then you can use the bathroom. So instead of trying to pull pants down, that might be slower, but also could be a fall risk, this would be something that you could use in lieu of that. Another thing with falls, lighting is so important. And so you want to think about the areas in the house that potentially get darker sooner than other times. So motion activated night lights are nice. This is one that you can plug in and it will go off when you get in a certain radius. So sometimes people don't like to have night lights on all night. So this is going to be nice because it's just going to get activated when you get up, either in the bathroom, in the hallway, wherever you might need that additional light. And then this is actually a bar activated night light. And so it sits on, so maybe in your stairway or a hallway near the stairs, you don't actually have a plug that you can plug something in. This you can Velcro on to the side, to the wall, maybe to a couple of the steps. And as you get near it, it will light up. And so that is another option. And then there are remote activated lights. So this is just a switch and you have it, the light would be plugged into the switch that the device that attaches with this. You use the button to turn it on and off. And so if you're sitting in the family room and maybe, or your mom is sitting in the family room and you're in the kitchen fixing dinner, she'll either call you to come turn the light on, or maybe she'll get up and go across the room to turn the light on. And that potentially could be a fall risk, not just because it's dark, but potentially because if she has some problems with balance. So another one would be using a smart light bulb with like a Google Home or an Amazon Echo. And so I'll show you Echo, living room light on.
Okay.
And so you can do that by your voice. You can do it, use a phone to do it. You can use a tablet, all connected to just a smart bulb that's in that light. Echo, living room light off.
Okay.
Okay. A couple other things I have to show you. Sometimes falls out of bed can be an issue and people don't want to do a hospital bed with rails. So this is just a portable bed rail and this would actually fit between, this part fits between the mattress and the box spring. You put it underneath and then it can help, the person might be able to use it to help move around in bed, but also it's going to prevent them from rolling out because it's going to give just a little bit, it's going to put something in the way so that they can't roll out. And there's ones that have pockets if you want to put a remote and things like that with it. But this is just an example of a portable bed rail. Let's see. Something else you might not typically think of. This is a timer, and this one's called a time timer. So you can look at that. And so again, we talked about sort of rushing to use the bathroom, but the same with rushing if you are cooking something or you're boiling some water or you have something in the oven and you say, oh, I need to get it in 10 minutes, and you go into the living room and then all of a sudden you hear the timer go up and you rush in there, that could be potential for a fall. So maybe you set this for 9 minutes. So when this goes off, then you're like, oh, okay, I still have a minute to get into the kitchen before my timer goes off. So my food won't burn. I don't need to rush and I can be more careful. So it's something as simple as this can be really beneficial. And then two things, lots of people use straight canes, whether it's been recommended for them or they get it through Goodwill or whatever. And if you've seen it, sometimes they're sitting them on the edge of the table and they fall off, or they lay down they lay them down on the ground, and all those things, the person could potentially trip over them. If they're already using a cane for something and then the cane gets in their way, that could be a problem. So these are two devices that you can use that will help. When you put the cane in there, it's just going to allow them to stand upright, allow the cane to stand upright, and then it's not going to become a fall hazard. It'll be ready when you need to use it. You won't have to bend over to the ground to pick it up. It won't be in anybody's way. And then we'll talk about a few things for bathing, because that's the bathroom, particularly bathing, is a huge area for falls. So one of the things to think about is, this is so old school, soap on a rope, so that you can either put it around your wrist, you can put it around your neck, but you have the soap, so it's not going to fall. If you're just using regular bar soap, it falls on the ground. You're sort of chasing it all over the shower floor. You potentially could fall, slip and fall. Similarly, this is a long-handled sponge. So for someone to reach their feet, this can be a lot easier than trying to bend over, lift up your foot, and wash it with your two hands. That really can be hazardous for someone that might have balance issues, particularly if there's not anything for them to hold on to in the bathroom. So I'm going to show you a couple more things related to the bathroom, and the camera will meet me over there. So a couple things in the bathroom. Grab bars are so important, and they make grab bars now that are all different colors so they can match your decor. If you're doing a bathroom remodel, if you're not wanting to get grab bars right now, at least make sure that your contractor puts the blocking in the shower behind your tile or whatever you're using, so that it's there in case you need it. But this is a drop down or a swing down grab bar. So this can be used by a toilet. It can get out of the way if somebody doesn't need it, but it's there if somebody does need it. And then here's a stationary grab bar in a bathroom. And what I have here, this is a product that's called Wingits. And this sometimes will allow you to put in a grab bar where there's not blocking back there. So that might be an option for something to think about as well. This is a step that you can use to get in the bathtub. So if you have a bathtub that you need to sort of step over and get into, this could be an option. And because we have the cutout, we don't have it fully set up because we have so many things in the bathtub. And then also, this is a shower chair. So even just being able to sit on the edge of the tub, move in with the shower chair. Show you. So you could sit on the edge of the tub, move in, get your legs over the edge of the bathtub, and be able to take a shower this way and not have to stand and do the showering that could be hazardous. And then you can dry off, get out, and then you're ready to go. So those are all the things I had to show you. I'm going to go back up front and we can maybe take some questions.